Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Brain Bucket Podcast. I am your host, Angel Alejo. Today we have David with us today. And
Hey,
David,
how you doing?
introduce yourself.
David.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hey, how you doing? I'm David Soto, born right here in El Centro, in Pearl Valley bred. I've been here for several years. Recently retired and enjoying retirement. Former Marine.
Hell
Former
yeah,
Marine.
devil dog. He's a devil dog.
Hoorah.
So how do you? Well, let's start off there. You grew up. Where were you born?
I was born right here in El Centro, California, and I was raised in Calexico, California. I went through elementary, high school, all my school years through there.
So after high school, you joined the Marine Corps or what?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I realized I'm a product of a migrant family. We used to follow the season, follow the cantaloupes, watermelon, whatever it was, the harvest. We used to start here in the Pearl Valley. Then we would go up to the Kern County area, Huron, Mendota, Fireball, Fresno, all throughout those places. And I realized that living or working on the crops was not a future for me. Well, I saw there was no future for me. And at an early age, I decided to join the Marine Corps. I decided to join when I was like 16 years old.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And my mom had to sign. I was still a junior. My mom signed off on it. And as soon as I graduated, I joined when I was a junior. As soon as I graduated from high school, I took off.
What year was that? Do you remember? Like, what year did you join?
I joined. I joined back in '84, and I took off in '85.
Holy shit, dude.
As soon as I got out of school, I was on that bus, and next thing you know, I was on those footprints right there.
You're already on the fucking footprints before I was born, bro. That's fucking crazy.
Yep.
So you was MCRD San Diego?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me about because I know so I was in from 2005 to 2009, December 2009. I extended my contract a little bit, and I thought, it was fucking hardcore. So I can imagine you're during your times, the fucking Marine Corps boot camp.
Well, I don't remember what the movie is called. There's a Marine Corps movie where the drill instructor, they come on the drill instructors that I'm trying to remember what the movie was.
Is it the one with the fucking Gormer? ¿Cómo se llama ese güey?
The pile.
Gunny Highway. Where the fucking fat dude's eating the donuts and shit like that.
Well, I don't know, but it was there's a movie. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, that's what. Okay, yeah, Full Metal Jacket. Yeah.
Well, my boot camp was just I could relate so much to that.
No shit.
Yes. Unfortunately for me, I had a drill instructor that was very racist, and he told me.
No shit.
He told me I'm a redneck and I hate all. And this is the words, and I don't like to say them, but he told me I hate all wetbacks. I hate all wetbacks like you. And from there on, he wouldn't let me down. I guess I was his little target throughout all those 12 weeks.
No shit.
Yeah. I literally got punched, kicked, got slapped a lot. And I remember one day when I went to medical, when I got back, everybody's foot locker was turned upside down. Everything was thrown all over the place. And when I got there, the drill instructor said, well, you know what you got to do, right? And yep, I knew what I had to do. I had to go and open up my gear locker and just throw everything out. I look at it back now. It was, at the moment, it was so scary. We went through so much shit.
Yeah.
But now when you look at it, we find it so funny. We're like, God damn.
Yeah, after you've lived it.
Yeah. And you know what? And it was weird because it was like, we went through the buddy program and it was 6 of us and all from Calexico. And now that we talk about it, we're like, God damn, remember when you did this or you did that, or this happened to you, or this happened to you. And
all 6 of you guys were fucking paisas from here from
Calexico. Yeah. And we all went through Calexico High School and everything. We all took off on the same day and everything. Calexico, I remember one of the son-in-laws, he was a very well-known mayor and everything. He threw a big-ass party for us. It was a blast, but during that time, it was some scary shit.
Once you're living that shit, you're like, fuck, dude. I remember waking up or being laying in bed and shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh my man, what did I get myself into? What the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? And even after when I got out, I thought, I went to graduated from boot camp, then went to MCT, Marine Corps Combat Training, and then my main MOS was Mortar T. Went to fucking Mortar T school in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Got stationed 29 Palms and an artillery unit, 311 Lima Battery. And I remember, all right, fuck it. I'm done with all the fucking hazing. I'm finally in my unit after all this fucking time, after all this training. I was like, all right, finally, I'm gonna stop getting treated like shit. David, it was the worst when I hit the fleet.
Really?
When I hit the fleet, man, they fucking treated me like shit. And we already knew that we're gonna get deployed to Iraq at the time. And I remember saying to myself, like, why the fuck are these guys treating me? But at the time, I was a boot, right? I didn't really understand. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why are these fucking guys treating me like shit? You know what I mean? We were one of the units in the Marine Corps that were out in the field the most during that time. It was like 2000, must have been 2006, 2007. And I remember laying in bed with my wife, like fucking the night before, waking up to go to the fucking field again, fucking tears, David, just tears. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what the, you know what I mean? What am I doing wrong? I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, but it's not till later that you do your time and you realize, you start seeing things differently. You're like, oh fuck, okay, now it's making sense. Where these motherfuckers are preparing me for fucking combat,
for what's
war,
gonna come up,
for what's coming up next. You know what I mean? And I was a fucking 19-year-old kid, didn't really understand it at the time, and then it's a cycle, right? Like then I was the one fucking with younger Marines and shit like that, and you understand it after the fact. But man, during the fucking time when you're living it, fuck.
No, I remember when I showed up to my very first unit. I'm like, yeah, I went through boot camp. I was a Motor T as well. I went through Del Mar. Went through that training right there, and then I showed up for my. I remember I showed up at 5th Marine Division, Camp Margarita, and I got there and I said, hey, I'm looking for this unit. Well, I'll go over there. Boom, went over there. No, you got to go over there. I spent like more than half a day of just going through Kwanzaa huts to Kwanzaa huts to Kwanzaa until they finally directed me. No, you're supposed to be over there. That's 1st LAV Battalion, the Lighter Armored Vehicle Battalion. All right, so I went over there. And I remember I showed up. Hey, I got my orders here. I'm supposed to report to you. All right, so I'm there and everything. Says, hey, we're all going to go to lunch, but you got bird watch. I'm like, bird watch?
Bird watch?
Yeah, I said, what's that? Oh, come over here. So this corporal took me out there. We had all our vehicles parked, and they are parked underneath wire lines.
Oh my god!
He said, when a bird lands on the fucking wire line, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to throw a rock at it or shoosh it away or whatever.
Scared away.
So, not knowing me, I didn't know any different. I didn't. Who am I gonna doubt? This guy telling me that, right? So I'm out there, fucking crows showing up, and the gunny came out, and he's like, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Private First Class Soto. I'm right here reporting to your unit, or whatever." What are you doing? I got bird watch. Bird watch. And he just turned around, and the sergeant was out there. Motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I was out there for about 30 or 40 minutes, and our lunch was going to be getting ready to get over. He says, you run your ass to the chow hall, eat really quick, because they're going to stop serving, and get your ass out here. So that was like, it's a learning curve we all go through. Learning curve that we all go through. We all had to go through that hazing. Yeah. Give me a can of beep.
A can of beep, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what's a can of beep? Oh, just go to the tool room and check it out. So I go over there. Hey, do you have a can of beep? The mechanic or whatever his name was. Yeah. So I go over there and they give me a can that says beep. And I asked the guy, I said, what do I do? I asked the mechanic, and he's over there. He says, well, when I tell you, I'm going to spray the can. When I tell you, go ahead and press on the horn. So what these guys did, they would unhook the horn, and you'd be like, there's nothing coming out. Well, let me spray it. And then like you hook it back up. Beep, beep. I'm like, oh shit. It's working. I was like, man, that thing works, man. So it's just.
Or like the blinker fluid.
They had a little bit of everything.
Go get the keys. Go talk to Corporal so go get me the keys for the Humvees or shit like that.
No, and then one time they asked this new guy, says, hey, I want you to go to this. We had the helo companies down by the ravine over there. He says, Go and ask that lieutenant. Tell him I'm saying you to go and get some flight line. And he's like, what's flight line? I said, well, fucking, I don't know. Let's go. So went over there and asked the lieutenant, hey, can we get some flight line? Who sent you? Lieutenant Pavlovak. He told us to report to you. Sure. Go at it. Go at it what? All that shit's flight line. So all that stuff that's the old line over here at the crossing, they used to have those railings, those big old thick paneling railings. That's flight line. That's steel metal that they used like in Midway and everybody so they could land the planes on.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that used to be. They call it flight line. They used to use all that metal sheeting so the planes could land on and everything. So I remember when I got there, I'm like, yeah, knock yourself out. I said, where is it at? All that stuff because they were replacing it with actual gravel or whatever. An actual runway. It says, knock yourself out. I'm like, but yeah, that's what flight line is, and it interlocks each other.
Yeah, like it
so it won't move.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man.
How do you remember your drill instructor's name still or no?
The only one I remember is Sergeant Redford, but that's the guy that harassed me like
that was a
crazy.
racist.
That was racist, dude, bro. That guy, he called all my sisters wetbacks. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
When he asked me, so how many wetback sisters do you have? 5. They're all American citizens, sir. They're all born in the U.S. and everything. He says, all your brother-in-laws are all wetbacks? So no, sir. One's a Japanese. That's when he struck the shit out. He slapped the crap out of him.
Shit.
So I can't believe you let him fucking marry a gook and this and that. It was, that guy he was bad, bro.
That's crazy.
He was bad.
You don't see that. I mean, I'm sure I know it's still out there, but you don't see it out in the open like that. Like, back in the days and shit, at least now they if there's someone that's fucking racist, they cover it up a little bit, not out in the open like back in the day.
It's one of the things that, unfortunately for me, I got that guy that picked on me, but it also, I guess it teaches you to be a little bit more aware of who you deal with, or it lets you read people. It lets you, once you're around a crowd or whatever, it lets you, you get to know your surroundings, get to know what kind of people are or what type they are, or what you're dealing with.
That's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
What about the other people in your platoon? Was there a lot of Mexicans, or was it just mixed, or?
Once I got to my actual platoon, or in boot camp. Well, no, it was a
fucking everyone.
It was diverse, man. Yeah, it was diverse. We had a couple of people that all of a sudden on the very first run they went on light duty, and and the Marine Corps is beautiful because they'll let you get almost to the finish line, and once you get there, they say no, you got to go back all the way to the beginning, and it happened to 1 or 2 of those characters. We had a guy that tried to commit suicide. He jumped from the 2nd floor building, landed on nothing but soft mud. All he did was break his ankle, fracture a wrist, and he got recycled. And it was crazy. But we had a good mixture. We had a lot of all different nationalities, different people from all over the place, all over the U.S. So it was pretty nice. We had that scenario where the drill instructor told us, either you guys go and take that guy to the shower and bathe him.
Oh shit.
Or we're gonna gonna take care of you guys. So one night, man, Bodie, I still remember the poor country boy, big old fat. He didn't like showers. We dragged him to the shower and we bathed him, man. We got those really thick, coarse scrub brushes. Brushed his back. We could see blood coming out and everything, but. Hey, it's like the drill instructor said, or people will tell you, it's either him or you.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that point, you're gonna do whatever it takes. You
gotta do fucking survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. Yeah. I was told once by that racist drill instructor. He says, "Hey," and I'm sorry to say the word. I don't like to use it, but he says, "Hey, either you kick that N guy off of this hill." Well, I'm going to kick you off that hill.
Fuck.
So, pobrecito, man. I went over there. Boom. Kicked him in the back. He just went down. It was Mount Motherfucker. He used to call it right here And I think it was at Edson Range, or it was somewhere out there, one of those training areas. And yeah, I kicked him off the hill. I felt bad because when we were marching down and everything, I could hear him cry over there and everything. He didn't want to be in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
His mom took him over there and everything. But other than that, no, it was just crazy, man. It's crazy, yeah.
Crazy fucking times.
Good times.
Yeah. Good times too. I mean, you get a lot of all those experiences and rough times that build. At the end of the day, to me, the way I see it is it builds character. You know what I mean? Yep. Those are experiences in your life that the Marine Corps fucking provided to you, and it makes you the man that you are today. And yeah, or there's fucking shitbags. There's always gonna be shitbags. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's always fucking shitbags in the world.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Marine Corps fucking has them. There's shitbags everywhere.
Police departments have them. Grocery stores have them. Yeah. Home Depot has them. Every single place has them. You know?
Yeah. But for the most part, like the fucking, especially the Marine Corps, at least my experience, they'll fucking straighten your ass out and teach you right from wrong and teach you that discipline. You know what I mean? That a lot of a lot of people are lacking, especially nowadays. You know what I mean? Especially our younger fucking generations they're fucking growing up to be fucking pussies, really. And it's like, it's a different world. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
You know what? And the majority of, like you said, of the kids that are growing up right now, they have no concept of what reality is.
Yeah.
They have no concept of this is what it takes for this to be moving. This is what it takes for the car to get going or keep on going.
Yeah.
I remember several years ago, I took my brother out to the dunes, and his son, which is back in the day was 15 or 16 years old, and we're all talking, and he's asking me about my rifles and everything, and he sounds like he knows. He knows all the what size of round, this and this and that. And I asked my brother, I said, "Do you guys have any guns?" "Oh no, it's because what he uses for PlayStation."
Oh shit, Call of Duty.
Yeah,
shit.
I said, "Have you ever shot a rifle?" "No." "Oh, okay, well," because he was talking like he knew everything, right? And then we got on our Razor, and I asked him, "Do you want to drive?" "Yeah." And the guy gets on. I said, "Okay, have you ever driven a car or anything like that?" He says, "No, but I drive run in PlayStation." I said, "Oh, the concept is very different."
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the guy went balls to the walls. We're hauling ass. And I had to literally grab his foot and get out because we were getting ready to flip over. Damn. And I told him, "You know what? You can't drive a car this fast when you don't even know how to drive a car."
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with your as a parent. At least this is my point of view, right? Try to teach them things earlier on and give them as much experiences as you can, so that when you send them out to the real world, it's not their first time experience having that experience. For example, I have guns all over the house, and a lot of people that don't know me or that aren't prior military or aren't law enforcement or whatever, they're like, "Oh, you're freaking crazy, man. You got them. You don't have them locked up in a safe or this and that." If you could teach your kid right from wrong, and you could teach him not to put his hand on the fire, it's the same thing. Teach him the responsibilities. Teach him the weapon safety rules. Teach him, you know what I mean, the consequences and how dangerous they are, and to respect them and handle them properly and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And that goes with everything in life. You know what I mean?
The do's and don'ts.
The do's and don'ts. Yeah, the do's and don'ts. Have respect for it and know when to use it, when not to use it. It's not a fucking toy. You know what I mean? But I teach them, you know what I mean? I'll take them out to the range and I'll teach them how to shoot, and I teach them, use of force scenarios and that sort of thing. We talk about it openly so that it's not there. It's not I don't want the only experience for them to have with a gun is on Call of Duty,
on TV
PlayStation,
or what
exactly.
they see on TV.
You know what I mean? On a movie or on a video game. So
no, exactly. If you teach them from the get-go, hey, you know what? This is not a toy.
Yeah.
You don't ever point a weapon at a person unless you're gonna shoot at that person.
Yeah.
And the safeties of everything, like, hey, you know what? That gun is there for a reason, and don't touch it unless if you have to touch the weapon.
Yeah.
Like me, I always carry a knife. I always carry a knife. I always carried one when I was on duty, when I used to work. And but that's my thing. And I could leave that knife right there. Like my little girl told me once, hey, I want you to buy a knife. I said, what do you want a knife for? Just. Nah, man, but what is just? I say, you can't take it to school. You can never take it to school. I never see you working with me outside. So what's the need for a knife? No, well, I just want to have a knife, Dad. Oh, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know, I use my knife for everything, for opening things, for when I'm working on cars or whatever. But I know the use of a knife.
Yeah.
I know how to use it. You know, I know how to use it for work or for self-defense or what have you. But I've always said, you know what, you're not gonna have something right there unless you need it.
Yeah.
And if you have it right there, you have to know all the safety protocols.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
it's at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's a tool. You know what I mean? It's a tool that you use for hunting, for protecting yourself, or what have you, and you have to respect the tool. It's just like a nail gun. You know what I mean? You can't be pointing it. You're gonna shoot yourself in a nail through your foot. You know, it's another tool that you need to learn how to use and respect it and use it when you have to. You know what I mean? The correct way and that sort of thing.
And know the functions of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know the functions of it. I've been in situations where people would grab guns from other people and they don't even know how to make it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would tell them, if you don't know how to make it safe, just grab it and just hold it right there, or pass it on to somebody that does know how to make a weapon safe. You know, you don't want to just be grabbing something pointed at other people thinking it's a safe weapon until, you know, you actually know.
That's how accidents happen, man. You know what I mean? But multiple fucking people have died that way where they don't know, you know what I mean? They have their finger on the trigger or shit like that where, you know, the tragedy happens.
You know what? I personally, I was involved once. I was being a mentor for one of my coworkers, his son, for high school. He says, you know what? I need a mentor. Says, okay. I was a range officer at the time. Says, okay, well, let's go to Calexico range. We'll do a couple of rounds, a couple of hours and everything so you could get that. So we went out there. I showed him all the safeties. It was an old revolver, pistol and everything. Showed him always point down range. When you have the gun out, point it down range or point it low. You know, once you're ready, then you raise up your weapon and so on. So we went through several scenarios. We shot the weapon. He shot the weapon and everything. And on one of those, me and his dad, we turned around and all of a sudden we hear a pop, pop, but a distinct pop. You realize, you notice when there's a pop that goes down range, or when there's a pop that just boom hits a deck. And we're like, so we turn around, we're like, hey, what happened? And we could see him, he had the gun like pointing down to the ground. He's like, it just went off. I said, okay, this is what I want you to do. Don't move anything. Raise your hand up, raise it up eye level and keep it there, right? So when he raised it up, we could see his finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
I said, and got the gun from him and everything, you know, made sure it was safe and all that. It was an old revolver, opened up the cylinders, took out all the rounds. And I told him, guns don't go off by themselves.
Yeah.
I said, luckily, and a good thing for you, it was pointed in a safe direction.
Yeah.
It wasn't pointed in. And you know what? Honestly, I don't know if that affected that kid, but once that happened, he says, I don't want to do this. No, I said, well, you have to. That's just a learning experience. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
It's very good that you were pointing that weapon down at a safe area. I said, just do it again. We'll go by the numbers and everything. And I made him do it 2 or 3 more times. And I'm pretty sure the thought stayed there, but at least he went through it. Because if at the moment, if I would have done it and said, okay, let's not do it again, maybe he would never ever touch the gun again. You know?
No, yeah, that's you know, like you said, it's a learning experience, and I guarantee you, he didn't do that again. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking oh shit factor. You know what I mean? Fucking gun going off on you like that without you intentionally doing it, and then until you realize what you did wrong. That's fucking crazy. Do you feel comfortable talking about where you used to work, or you don't want to touch that subject?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I feel comfortable.
So tell me about after the Marine Corps. So how much? So you did what, 4 years?
No, I did 3 years. I went in open contract in the Marine Corps. I did 3 years. When I got out, of course, I came back to Imperial Valley. I did odd jobs. I worked at majority. The first year I went to go and work with my dad up north in Bakersfield. We worked at a con gin, Did that. I did most of maintenance and stuff like that. It was in 1990. I think I put in my application for Customs and Border Protection, which used to be U.S. Customs Service. Because one of my sisters, she crossed or whatever, and she said, "Hey, they have a hiring. They're hiring a lot of people right now."
How old are you at the time when you applied for CBP?
When I applied, I think I was 24.
24, okay.
Yeah, 24. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I got in 88. I spent 89, 90, and 91. I started working for CBP. And
this is before Homeland Security was even a thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no. The Homeland Security started in 2003.
Okay.
So I started in 1991. And I put in my application and everything. I said I did the VRA. That's when they were hiring a lot of veterans.
Yeah.
And I went for an interview. And they talked to me for a couple of hours and everything. And they said, "We'll let you know." And you know what? Let me go back a little bit. 1988, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I put in for U.S. Customs Service. I did my application. Back in the day, you have to take a civil service test, which lasted 5 hours. I did it and everything.
What the fuck is that? What is a
Civil service test? They do math. They do writing, English. They do a whole bunch of engineering kind of questions and everything. It's about a 4 or 5 hour test.
Damn.
I don't think they do that anymore. And I remember that I did that test, and a couple of months later, I received a letter. Unbeknownst to me, I get the letter, and it says, "You do not qualify for a GS7 or whatever." And once I saw that you do not qualify, I got that letter and put it back, stowed it, put it away, right? Like a couple of months later, or like 6, 7, almost 8 months later, my sister said, "Hey, David, they're hiring a lot of people. What's up? Didn't you apply?" I said, "Yeah." So I got that letter again, right? And it says, "You do not qualify for GS7, but you do qualify for a GS5 entry level. You have 1 year to submit this, to come with this letter to the port of entry to get hired."
Oh shit!
It was like 1 month past that time.
Hey David, this is before obviously before smartphones, before emails, right? There was emails.
No, there was no email.
No emails back in the day, huh?
No. So when I reviewed the letter, and I still have it, just to remind me how what a dumbass. but you know what? I always say things happen for a reason, right? I looked at it. It says you have 1 year from the date of this letter to come to the port of entry to start working. And I remember I went back to the port. I said, "Hey, I got this letter. This. Oh, sorry. The year's over. You don't qualify anymore. You're gonna have to go through the same process."
The whole process from the beginning, huh?
So, needless to say, that was in '88. I went to work with my dad and everything, and I worked at Vaughn's. I worked at it used to be called it wasn't the AutoZone back in. It used to be Checkers. I think
Checkers.
Cragen is O'Reilly.
Okay,
I think Craig. So I used to work at Checkers on 4th, right here on 4th. That's my first job. Former military guy gave me. He was really nice. He gave me that job and everything, and I did that for a couple of months. But throughout the years, I went through different jobs until I landed back into the Customs and Border Protection. And you know what? Honestly, I had an awesome job. I had an awesome career.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. I got there. I was single. I didn't have a thing to worry about when I went through the academy.
Back then when you went through, it was in
12 weeks in Glencoe, Georgia.
Oh, it was back in Fletzy still back then?
Fletzy, yeah. And came back, and honestly, I had a lot of good mentors and a lot of good people that maybe they saw something in me, and they would always tell me, "Hey, I want you to put in for this job," or "I want you to do this," or they would nominate me. "Hey, you know what? You're gonna go to DC." I used to go to Washington DC a lot, man. I used to go for training a lot. And I remember one day we're out there in the training, and this one guy said, "We need some volunteers because we're gonna start a brand new program where we're gonna go to South America, and we're gonna train these people how to look or how to find compartments. Who wants to go?" And I was on one of them, and that opened up a lot of doors for me.
Oh, no shit.
I did a lot of trainings in Panama, Ecuador, Mexico. I was all the time in Mexico doing trainings
Really?
out there. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it was a great experience. Great experience. I went to Canada as well. It was great, man.
Yeah.
Panama was beautiful. Ecuador was beautiful. But needless to say, for me, I had a blast in my career. I did 31 years for Customs and Border Protection. It used to be U.S. Customs Service. I used to love to find dope. We used to find dope like crazy, man. Crazy. It was, and we're not talking about seizures that we have now, which are 20, 30 pounds. I'm talking about 1,100 pounds. I'm
Holy
talking
shit.
about, I think our biggest one we had was 36,000 and something pounds.
Wow. Was that like on a truck or what?
It was on a truck. It was
That's
on a semi.
crazy.
Yeah, no, back in the day, man, we used to haul it in. You know, so I remember at the latter years, at my end of my career, my guys used to, we had a big seizure. What'd you guys get? About 30 pounds of man. Oh man, you know, that ain't nothing. But but at the time I couldn't say that. I'm like, all right, yeah, thumbs up, 7
Good
up.
job, yeah.
Thumbs up, 7 up, man. But no, you know what? Honestly, I enjoyed my career, bro. I loved it. It gave me what I have now. So many experiences, so many friendships that I developed, so many skills that you gain from it. And I wouldn't do it any different, man. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't do anything different of what I did in the past. Who I pissed off, because I was very vocal. I was one of the most senior guys there at the port, and I would rant. I would talk to my superiors. I wouldn't disrespect them, but I would make them realize that their knowledge wasn't compared to mine. You know, on the old like collecting of duties and stuff like that. But no, I believe when I left at a good time. I left with a good rapport. Yeah. You know, I'm just coming back from the port of entry right now. They gave me my retirement badge, my retirement credentials, so I could carry my off-duty weapon and everything. But no, I loved it, man. I loved everything. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. Yeah. You know, I was chosen. Somebody told me to go to the Marine Corps. Our first trip was going to be to the Navy, but the Navy office was closed. So I went. The Marine was outside right there, right here in the old Imperial Valley Plaza, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys looking for?" The Navy. Those guys suck. Come over with me. And I went over there. I followed there, and it was Gunny Perry. A lot of our guys knew him, and he was a really good guy, man. He knew how to talk. Yeah. He knew how to talk. He knew how to fish you in, man.
That fucking charisma,
and put that hook on you, man. And thank God, bro, because I enjoyed my stint in the Marine Corps. I enjoyed working for Customs and Border Protection, and I'm enjoying retirement life now.
Oh man, I bet. Tell me a little bit about how CBP changed, or I'm sorry, how Customs changed the transition. Tell me a little bit
when they merged.
When they merged, how did that happen? And tell me, how did that change? Did it change anything at all as far as your experience, as far as the agency goes?
Well, it changed a lot because we lost a lot of people with that skill. Because back in the day, we had immigration officers that just dealt with immigration, and that was their deal. That it was great because they knew everything, all the immigration laws and INA laws and everything. And we, as Customs, we knew everything about seizures. We knew everything about penalties, about alcohol, about seizures on vehicles, what have you. So I guess when we merged together, it was supposed to be one big old agency that they were going to be combined, and everybody was going to have the same skill set, but it never worked that way. Yeah, it never worked that way. And honestly, if you go at the port, before I left the port, if we had like 9 or about 13 persons or people that literally knew about immigration law, that was a lot.
Really?
It was a lot. Yeah, that merger just destroyed everything, because like it was 2 houses apart, but we would work together. But everybody would handle. Hey, you know what? You got to handle this immigration. They would take care of that. Hey, you handle the seizure. You take care of that. But when we came together, they wanted me to know about immigration, and I was never trained in immigration. I was trained in customs. Vice versa for the immigration supervisors
So back then, before CBP was a thing, it was INS
and CBP
and customs.
and customs.
So it was two different things. Both
different.
working at the port of entry.
Yep.
Is that when they had the white shirts?
Yep. Immigration had white shirts, and when I started, we had baby blue shirts, but then we switched to dark blue.
Okay.
And if you would ever cross through the lane, through the port of entry, you would see one immigration, one CBP, and one immigration. No, you would always have like one in between each other.
Yeah.
That way, in case the smugglers or whatever, they wouldn't just say, okay, all immigration is going to be on this side and all CBPs, all customs is going to be on that side. We would always have one in between each other.
Staggered.
Yep.
What about ¿cómo se llaman esos agricultural specialists? Did they have them back in the day too or no?
Yes. But Aggie always worked, and they had the best job, man. They always worked only from, I think it was back in the day, it was 6 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, and that was it. And they would never put them on midnights or anything like that. So we would have to do their job on the midnight shift. If somebody was bringing illegal or
But what did they do with like flowers and like
Flowers,
fruits and shit like that?
meats,
Animals.
different meats, animals. If you would bring in a stuffed animal, they would take a look at it. If you would bring wood, they would take a look at it, make sure there's no larva or anything like that. Their main function right now is where they do most of their work is the enforcement work at the cargo facility.
Oh, really?
That's where they do a lot of work. Yeah, they go through pesticides and
like
everything.
the stuff that they
import,
from other countries and
because
stuff.
you got to remember at the Calexico port of entry, at the facility, at the cargo area, they bring everything from radishes, lettuce, carrots, olives, olive oil. Whatever's in the market, melons, anything. So that's where they do most of the work out there.
So are those guys also considered law enforcement or no?
No.
No. It's kind of like the guys.
We don't even let them carry a knife, man. That's they might hurt each other.
You don't even give them a fucking box
no,
cutter.
No, man, no. We don't want to go there, man. No, we don't want them to get hurt.
Oh shit!
And you know what? In order for being an Aggie officer, they all have to go through they all have to get a degree in college. I think it's an associate's or bachelor's degree.
Oh really?
Yeah. In order for you to be an Aggie officer, you have to have a degree.
No shit.
Yeah.
And what's the pay like for them?
I think
the pay scale.
I think they have the same. They're the same GS levels, but I don't know. But they don't have the LEO coverage or anything like that.
The retirement.
Yeah,
That's
they
not
don't
the
have
same
that retirement or anything like that. But they're good people, you know. They're good people. Some of them are very smart and everything, intellectual and everything. And but like I said, yeah, we don't. They're not enforcement minded.
Yeah.
Not in that aspect of looking for fraudulent documents or looking for smuggled items or anything like that. They're not at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that their training's not. You know, it's agricultural fucking specialist training. You know what I mean?
It's like that admin guy in the Marine Corps where he just sits behind the desk and everything. But when it comes pay time and everything, you need them. You do need you need them and everything. But when you don't, you're like, he's a waste, you know. But no, it was good. I had a great time, man.
So after it merged, right? After it merged, the merge happened when it was when DHS came into play. That's when the CBP and INS merged.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was did you like the merge or did you prefer back like it was in the old days?
No, you know what? It's like everything. You know, one of my partners told me a long time ago, you know, God rest his soul. He served in Vietnam and everything. And he told me, you know what, David, you just got to roll with punches, man.
No.
Things are going to change. We're going to, at one point or another, we're going to get, technology is going to take over, what have you. And that's what ended up happening, you know. And he told me, you know what, David, just worry about yourself. You take care of yourself. Don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about everybody else where they're working or what have you and everything.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I took my career. You know, hey, you know what? We're gonna merge. We're gonna do this. What good does it do to go against the grain all the time, if
Yeah, there's no control over
there's
it.
no
Yeah,
control,
yeah.
bro. The grain's always gonna be there. You have no say.
Yeah.
Especially a person in my position where I was just a supervisor when I retired. Regardless of how much experience and everything, you have no say. So, hey, just roll with the punches.
Now, I know it's a lot different nowadays, but back in the day, do you feel that the public well, I know for a fact, I think everyone knows that back in the day, the law enforcement had a little bit more respect from the public as they do now. Do you think that, did you see that change during your time there?
Yes.
And how excuse me, and how did you tell me a little bit about the things that maybe as a CBP officer back in the 90s, early 2000s, that you had authority to do that now they don't really enforce nowadays?
Well, back when I started, honestly, we had a lot of respect from the traveling public because we would take people in just to search them without a say, and we have that right. CBP, U.S. Customs has that right. You're crossing international border from a foreign country. You're subject to search. We don't need that probable cause. We don't need anything. We just go. And back in the day, we used to do that. Hey, you know what? You come over. And there was no back talk or anything like that. I remember back in the day when Mexican citizens would cross, and if their car was a smog issue where it was just throwing out smoke, we were returning back to Mexico.
No shit.
There was no question. I remember back in the day when people would cross and they would have attitudes or what have you, we would just cut their cards up. Everybody had a scissors on them. Or we would take them to immigration. Hey, bro, this guy's giving me a lot of slack over here, man. He's giving me a lot of flack and everything. I don't appreciate it. Hey, you know what? Boom. You're canceled for a year, 2 years, or whatever. But that's the way we used to do it back in the day, and it wasn't all the time. It was done when it was warranted.
Yeah.
And people used to respect us. Now, I think it's just the change of generations.
Yeah.
Of how people are being raised.
I think, sure.
Not to talk, not to answer you. I remember I used to be in the line and kids would be like on their phone and everything like that. I remember when I used to cross, my dad used to tell me, "Hey, sit up, look at the gentleman or lady, answer the questions."
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, no, sir. Or wait that. We used to have people, "Oh, my kids are asleep." Hey, well, you've been in line for an hour. You should have known. You should wake them up because I'm going to ask them a couple of questions.
You're coming up into inspection.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
wake up. All you have to do is wake them up for about 10 minutes, 10 seconds or whatever. While I ask them a couple of questions, you're up the road. But it did change with time. It did change. Things started getting a lot stricter for us as, hey, you know what? If you're going to do this, you got to make sure you record it. You got to make sure that you annotate what kind of inspection you did on this person. Back in the day, we should send cars in, check them out, release them, and that was it. And that got to the point where at the end of my career where you would have to send a car in and you would have to record whatever you did, what came out of that inspection. Yeah. If it was a good inspection, bad inspection, or what have you. Yeah. So yeah, with time, everything changed. And everything changes. And you know what? And the reason why things change is because those changes are brought upon because of our actions. Because you always got that one person that thinks he's better or he thinks he knows what to do or how to do things, and he screws it up for everybody else. Yeah. Like when now, for like the first 10 years of my career, I don't think we had those virtual learning center VLCs that they call. They go into the internet and go through a PowerPoint or whatever, and they give you a certificate. I remember we never did those. And they came on with those, how to treat other people, tech security. Tech security was always there and stuff like that. But things, they change or things come about because of actions, our actions.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed another episode of the Brain Bucket Podcast, where we interview people from different backgrounds. We try to pick their brain and try to get the raw truth and see things from their perspective. Feel free to follow us at the links below. You can also follow us at the Brain Bucket Podcast. Share, subscribe, leave comments, and share this with your friends. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Till next time.